Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Lydia, and today I want to show you how to make a classic lemon meringue pie. It is a little bit sweet, a little bit tangy, perfect for the hot summer months. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. Please consider subscribing, and let's get on with this delicious summer classic. To start this recipe, make sure you preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Then go ahead and roll out your pie crust, fit it into your pie dish, and crimp the edges. So I did this the night before just because I didn't want to do this on camera. It takes a long time and I was trying to get my edges really perfect. So yeah, that's why I did it the night before. I'll go ahead and link a pie recipe for you guys if you're interested in making your own pie crust, which I hope you guys do because it is so much better if it's homemade. So go ahead and line it with some aluminum foil. Make sure it goes over the edges. I'm using 2 sheets to make sure it is covered. So we are actually going to blind bake our pie crust. It just basically means we're going to add some beans to the bottom, bake it for a little bit, and then we're going to take the beans out. So if you have pie weights, you can go ahead and use those, but many of us don't. So just use some dry beans and bake it for around 15 minutes. This is going to ensure that the pie crust is baked and it isn't raw in the center when we go to make our pie. So go ahead and take it out of the oven and remove the pie weights and the aluminum foil, or the beans and the aluminum foil. Prick the edges, bake it for 10 more minutes, take it out of the oven, and just set it aside. So this pie has a lot of steps and a lot of things going on, but just take your time while you're making this. So we set that aside, and now we are going to be working on our lemon filling. So to a medium-sized bowl, add in your cornstarch, your sugar, and your salt. Stir it to combined. I'm just using a half-moon whisk. I really do recommend these if you don't have a whisk or if you're in the market for a whisk, but if not, just use a regular whisk. That works wonderfully. So give it a quick stir, make sure everything is combined, and then add in your cold water. Then give this mixture another good mix. You don't want any clumps of dry cornstarch hanging out, so make sure it's nice and smooth. Turn your heat onto medium and bring this mixture to a boil. So make sure you're stirring constantly. Now is not the time to walk away or try to do other things. If you are planning to make this lemon meringue pie, just set aside a few hours out of your day to where you just dedicate it to making this pie, as my husband likes to call it, this pie of a million steps. So it does take a little bit of time and it's quite hands-on. So just set aside a few hours out of your day if you're planning to make this, so you are not going to mess this up. There is a lot going on. So once your mixture gets thick, kind of like I have it here, you can go ahead and take it off the heat. Then go ahead and whisk your egg yolks. I do suggest using organic cage-free eggs if you can, because the yolks tend to be more nutritious and the color is a lot deeper, but that's just my personal preference. Add a spoonful of that cornstarch mixture to your egg yolks and whisk it to temper the eggs. Once you used about half of the cornstarch mixture, add in the rest of the eggs to that mixture of cornstarch in the saucepan. Make sure you get every last drop out because this is going to be your lemon filling. So once you get every last drop, you want to cook this in the saucepan on medium heat, 3 to 4 minutes, stirring of course constantly because you don't want anything to burn. Also, if you need to, make sure you're scraping the sides with your rubber spatula so there's nothing left on the sides of the saucepan. And then of course, like I said, cook it on the stovetop 3 to 4 minutes until it is bubbly and cooked through. It should be nice and thick. Once it's at that stage and you see that it's a little bit bubbly, kind of like I have here, go ahead and take it off the heat. Then I went ahead and ran this mixture through a fine mesh sieve, and I made sure there wasn't any bits of egg yolks running through this mixture. That's not what I was going for, so I wanted it to be smooth. Add in your lemon juice, your lemon zest, and of course your butter, and start to combine this. I was using a rubber spatula at first, and then I realized that wasn't doing a really good job, so I went back to my half moon whisk. I love this thing, you guys. It's small, it's compact, even though that's the same word, and it just really gets the job done. It doesn't look like much, but I just love it because it does the work. So once everything is nicely combined and the butter is melted, basically you just made lemon curd, you are ready to set that aside, and we are ready to finally move on to the next step. So preheat your oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. Then add some more cornstarch and some cold water to a small saucepan. Stir it until everything is dissolved. Heat it on medium heat and whisk this mixture until it becomes bubbly and it thickens. It should look kind of like gel or something like this. Once it's bubbly, go ahead and take it off the heat. And now we're going to finally work on our meringue. So go ahead and whisk your sugar and your cream of tartar together, set that aside, add in your room temperature egg whites to a standing mixer bowl, and add your attachment to your standing mixer. You can do this with a hand mixer, but I mean, let's just be real. It takes a little bit of time. Get your eggs to be nice and frothy, kind of on medium speed. And once they're frothy, slowly add your sugar and cream of tartar, a spoonful at a time. Beat this until your egg whites get soft peaks, and I'm going to show you what that looks like in a minute. So let me just turn the machine off and show you guys really fast what soft peaks looks like. Make sure you're not walking away from this mixture while you're doing this because stuff happened quite fast now. So that's soft peaks. Go ahead and turn your machine back on. Add in your cornstarch water mixture, a spoonful at a time, and continue to beat this. Increase the speed until your egg whites have formed stiff peaks. The cornstarch water mixture helps with keeping the meringue from weeping or turning watery, so make sure you do not skip this step. I have seen people just straight away add cornstarch into the meringue. You could probably get away with that, but today we're just making this, gel cornstarch mixture with water. So once that is done and you have stiff peaks, you want to take it off the standing mixer, set it aside, and then you want to work on your lemon curd again. You want to add it to a saucepan and reheat it until it's nice and bubbly. Basically, we're trying to keep our lemon meringue pie from weeping, so we are going to heat this up, hopefully to keep any condensation from forming in between the lemon meringue and the lemon curd when we go to bake this pie. So once it's bubbly, go ahead and take it off the heat. Add this lemon filling to your pre-baked pie dish. Make sure you spread it evenly on top and make sure you get every last drop of that lemon filling out of your saucepan. Listen, you don't want any of that good stuff to be left behind. Add the meringue to the top of the pie filling or the lemon filling. Then you want to go ahead and spread the meringue all the way to the edges, and you want to seal the edges of the pie crust with the meringue, kind of like I'm doing here. You're trying to avoid any weeping, any condensation forming. So this is crucial to make sure that you spread your meringue all the way to the edges. I cannot stress this enough, or else you will get weeping, and that is just not ideal. Then I went ahead and ran a spoon, the back of the spoon, all over the meringue. I kind of try to create these nice divots and build the meringue up on top so it forms a nice peak. You can do it with a rubber spatula, but I find a spoon does this really nice. And once you get the desired texture going, go ahead and bake this for around 20 minutes or until the meringue is golden brown. Once it's golden brown, go ahead and take it out of the oven. And the hardest part, I believe, is actually waiting for this thing to cool. It takes forever to cool, especially if it's a summer day. It takes forever. And the thing with lemon meringue pies is that they tend to be good like the very first day, because otherwise, if they sit around, they tend to weep and the meringue tends to fall. So just keep that in mind. If you're making this, try to serve it the same day, like later on in the evening, just because it does take a long time. Here I am cutting a little slice of lemon meringue, and I want to show you kind of how mine looks inside. So as you can tell, there is definitely a gap in between the meringue and the lemon filling, but it works fine. I didn't get any weeping, which I was so thankful about. So make sure you follow the steps and the tips that I give you just to try to avoid any weeping and enjoy this lemon meringue pie. Now, I wasn't going to make a lemon meringue pie just because it's a lot of work and I just didn't really want to get into it. But my brother has been asking me to make this pie for years now, so I decided to go ahead and do this for him. Unfortunately, he wasn't here to enjoy it with us, but once he does come over, I will make it for him. You guys might even see that he leaves me comments. His name is Lightning FNC here on YouTube. He does have his own channel. It's a Minecraft channel, so if you're interested in that, go ahead and check him out. The lemon filling to this pie is sweet and tangy, and then the meringue balances out all the flavors because it's not overly sweet, it's cloudy, and it kind of just melts in your mouth. You definitely cannot taste any of the cornstarch that went into the meringue. And then, of course, the pie crust is delicious. I do not have the recipe to this pie crust just because I'm perfecting it, so I don't have the recipe quite yet. But if you are making this recipe, make sure you are making your own pie crust if you're going to go through all that trouble. I hope you guys enjoy this recipe. Check it out. It's in my video description. It definitely has a million steps to it, but it's totally worth it. And I hope you guys enjoy it if you do make it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys are having an awesome day, staying safe, staying healthy, and just enjoying life to the fullest. Until next time, I will see you guys later with another hopefully awesome recipe. Bye, guys.